Muy buenas a todos, chicos y chicas, ¿qué tal estáis? Bienvenidos a un capítulo más del Let's Play de Metal Gear Solid 4. Y lo hemos dejado justamente por aquí, justamente después de seguir al tío de la Resistencia para que nos lleve a su cuartel general y así poder encontrarnos con Big Mama. Pues lo hemos dejado justamente aquí antes de empezar las cinemáticas. ¿Por qué? Pues porque ahora se van a venir unas cuantas bastante larguillas y en consecuencia seguramente se nos hubiera ido el capítulo anterior se nos hubiera ido a la hora y media, hora y cuarto, más o menos. Y no quería un vídeo así otra vez. Demasiado, nos hemos tragado ya con Metal Gear Solid 5, creo yo. Así que, y bueno, con el final de Metal Gear Solid 2 ya ni os cuento. Así que prefiero condensar. Así que vamos a empezar las cinemáticas. Y vamos a ver qué ocurre. Estamos dentro.
Who's there? I'm here to see Big Mama. Is this the guy? What do you think? I didn't hear him coming at all. He's gotta be the one.
Metal Gear Solid 3.
Yeah. Look at him.
Peace Walker. Ops. CQC. ¿Cuántos son? Y no pueden con él, ¿eh?
Very impressive, CQC, Snake.
Por si no queda suficientemente claro quién es.
He is the legendary soldier. Call me Mama.
Sí, la verdad es que sí.
Big Mama.
Quitemos Big y llamémoste Mamá. No Mamá. Te voy a llamar Mamá. ¿Te parece eso mejor?
I need to talk to you. Raiden sent me.
My, how you've grown. David. It was you, not I, who was created from the rib of man. But I gave you life. I am your mother.
Lo sé.
What?
Claro, él no lo sabe.
Les enfants terribles. You can't grow a human being in a test tube, not even a clone. You need a woman's body to give it life.
You mean a surrogate mother?
That's an awfully cold way to put it. I am your mother. I gave birth for the Patriots.
Sí. Tanto a ti como a Liquid.
Gave birth.
Venga, Snake, por favor. No te sorprendas como si no supieras qué es lo que es, ¿eh?
Appropriate. No?
Si ya el juego no te está dando demasiadas pistas para ver quién es.
Follow me. I'll explain everything.
El fruto prohibido, la manzana, la Virgen María. O sea, es Eva. Nos lo va a revelar luego. Pero es Eva. Y ya con lo de que yo te parí.
The man who wants me dead is Liquid,
Ya.
your twin.
Tu propio hijo también.
You think you know him, but I know him better. He was once Ocelot, but Liquid has taken control of his soul.
Y ella nos va a explicar cómo.
And now he's locked in a bitter struggle with Zero,
Zero.
the founder of the Patriots.
Founder. When did this happen?
En los años
40
60.
years ago,
En el 64.
during the Cold War, when the United States and the Soviet Union were still at odds. It was in that chaotic era that the Patriots were born. And I played my part.
Bueno, en el 74, mejor dicho.
I was one of the
Sí.
founding members.
You.
Junto con Big
Zero
Boss.
created the Patriots to manage and control the American state. That control endured long after the Cold War ended. The organization became an empty shell, continuing to function through AIs. Those AIs are responsible for the creation of the war economy, and they gave rise to the Sons of the Patriot system. But I am partly to blame. I bear some of the guilt for creating the organization. It was right after I first met your father, Big Boss.
Después de conocer a
Back
John.
in 1964, I was ordered to take part in a CIA op called Operation Snake Eater, which concerned a new weapon the Soviets were developing at the time. My mission was to support a certain agent. That agent later became Big Boss, but I knew him as Snake.
Snake.
Yes, Naked Snake. That was his code name at the time, a name he would give to you, his son. The commander of this mission was a man called Zero, the head of Special Forces Unit Fox. Back then, I was working as a double agent for the Chinese. My objective was to secure the location of the Philosopher's Legacy, a massive cache of hidden wealth, and report it to Beijing. I was to acquire a microfilm showing the location of secret funds, funds amassed by the Allied powers during World War II. But I failed in my mission and was expelled from China. I took the apple
Claro,
from
porque
the
Ocelot le dio el cambiazo.
and was cast out of Eden. After years on the run, I ended up in Hanoi. That's where I met him again. It was around then that Zero used the massive funds contained in the Philosopher's Legacy to start a new organization, the Patriots,
La tumba
which
de
would
Boss.
carry out the final wishes of a certain legendary hero. The initial membership consisted of Big Boss, Sigint, Paramedic,
Clark.
and their commander, Zero.
El
Oh,
jefe
and
de
there was
ARPA,
one more
la doctora
who I
Clark,
mustn't forget. He stayed behind in the Soviet Union to support the
Zero
as an informant.
y Ocelot,
Ocelot, who is now Liquid.
antes conocido como Adamska, hijo de The Boss.
I went to America and joined their organization. Zero's goal was to achieve a unity of thought and awareness. He believed that was what the boss wanted, and the rest of the Patriots followed his lead.
The boss.
The boss was a legendary hero from the Second World War, known as the Mother of Special Forces. She had an almost overwhelming charisma about her. The CIA feared this, so they had her eliminated. If she had survived, the world of the 21st century might have been a very
Bastante distinto.
We were all influenced by the boss's will. It was what drove us to create this organization, to be closer to that spirit.
Y se os fue de las manos.
Zero decided that in order to lead the people, we needed a special kind of icon. So we turned to Big Boss, the last son of the boss. He shared more of her life than anyone else. It was Big Boss, the true heir to her legacy, who was best suited to play this role.
Pero el proyecto Les Enfants Terribles.
Zero elevated Big Boss, the hero who saved the world, to the status of an idol. The truth behind Big Boss became riddled with exaggeration, misrepresentation, and outright lies. Zero disseminated these stories among the masses and gathered the rich and powerful to his banner. Every era needs its symbols to control the people. whether it be the stars and stripes or the hammer and sickle. As the times and currents of politics changed, so too did Zero. Eventually, he became a prisoner of his own lust for power, sparking friction between him and Big Boss, who resented playing the puppet. With Big Boss drifting away, Zero realized he would need insurance. Something that would perpetuate the existence of Big Boss, their organization's icon. And so Zero secretly embarked on a new project. Les
Enfants terribles.
Its goal was to create a clone of Big Boss, the ultimate soldier. The project was led by Dr. Clark, known at the time as Paramedic.
¡Ay!
After dozens of failures,
La doctora Clark.
finally, miraculously, succeeded in producing a fertilized egg. The egg used in this successful in vitro fertilization came from Dr. Clark's assistant, a healthy Japanese woman.
Blood from the east flows within your veins.
Give
Las
birth
palabras.
to Big Boss.
Las palabras
Realized this. I
de-
offered to serve as the surrogate
de Raven.
and was more than happy to carry you in my womb. I loved him. 9 months later, I gave birth to
Le
two.
implantaron el óvulo de esa mujer asiática a
It
Eva.
didn't matter that you were clones or that they had manipulated
Y así
you.
nacieron
You were born
los
the
tres
same
soles.
as any other normal child from your mother's womb. But Les Enfants Terribles proved to be the final straw for Zero and Big Boss. Determined to oppose Zero and his plans, Big Boss broke away from the Patriots. He left the States, created his own mercenary company, and drifted around the world.
Bueno, Outer Heaven no.
I'm sorry.
Primero fue
Father never wanted
Militaires Sans Frontières, luego fue Outer Haven.
like that. I knew that, but I wanted you. After Big Boss left, Zero really lost control. What Zero wanted was an orderly world, one governed by rules. His fortune grew through countless wars, and his words influenced decision-making all the way up to the Oval Office. As the world saw the rise of digital technology, IT, the internet, and genetics, the Patriots' power grew immense.
Huh.
Their roots spread and took hold throughout the globe. In time, they began to dictate the fate of entire nations from the shadows. And before we knew it, the Patriots, the proud police of the world, started bringing an entire planet under their control.
Bueno, y así nos han explicado un poquito por encima y también he sorteado algunos agujerillos argumentales. La explicación de Eva.
Their intentions were fair, but their execution was flawed.
Ujú. De
Zero
hecho,
developed weapons,
Zero todavía consideraba a Big
used
Boss su amigo.
information for extortion, all in
Todavía le
order to
quería como
gain more
amigo.
wealth. He was obsessed with controlling awareness on the inside from the outside. But I cannot imagine that's what the boss would have wanted.
Para nada.
They both misinterpreted her will.
Tanto Big Boss como Zero, sí. Malinterpretaron
Their
los dos.
absolute reverence for her drove them apart. So began the war between Zero and Big Boss. Opposing interpretations.
Y las dos
Each
equivocadas.
striving to realize the boss's will. Everything you see today stems from their Cold War. Differences in race, in religion, in ideology. This war they've caused is no different from any other human error in history. It all started with a tiny fork in the path.
Sí. Todo comenzó con una discrepancia.
Into a great.
En plan de todo, se ha convertido, todo ha sucedido por un... Yo no opino lo mismo.
Boss's noble will in their struggle. All that remained was hatred, a passion to destroy one another. Big Boss returned to the U.S. with a plan in mind, and once again assumed command of Foxhound. In Outer Heaven, and then Zanzibar Land.
Regresó a América como amistoso, pero en verdad...
Against Zero. But you, Solid Snake, his own clone.
Bueno, su hijo.
Both times. Big Boss and Gray Fox, Frank Yeager, were left near death. Zero recovered their bodies. Frank Yeager's entire body was reconstructed through surgery.
Por la doctora Clark.
He was reborn as the cyborg ninja.
Yep.
Big Boss, now a vegetable, became a prisoner of Zero even in death. For Zero, more than anyone else.
No.
Father was an irreplaceable icon. No, the truth is, for Zero, he was an irreplaceable friend. After Big Boss's betrayal, Zero could no longer believe in something so uncertain as life. He lost his belief in everything. Nations, organizations, individuals. Zero was no longer willing to place his organization in the hands of the next generation. Instead, he set up a network of AIs, a decision-making system formed from all the information he had accumulated. He built 4 AIs, GW, TJ, AL, and TR, as sort of a digital Mount Rushmore, and 1 core artificial intelligence to unite them, John Doe.
GW.
George Washington.
Same GW we destroyed 5 years ago.
The same. Ever since GW was cut off, JD and the other 3 AIs have controlled all information on every aspect of global society. Economics, politics, law, morals, and culture. The war economy is no exception. In the shadow of the system and its complete control over the world, Big Boss isn't allowed to live or die. He's trapped for eternity in a brain-dead prison. To bind himself to his friend, to ensure his rule over the world, Zero transformed Big Boss into an icon, neither living nor dead.
Sounds almost like a religion.
Naturally, Ocelot and I plan to free him from Zero's prison. We enlisted Naomi Hunter, an authority in the field of nanomachine research, into our organization. And we used Frank Yeager to kill Dr. Clark. Ocelot tortured the DARPA chief, Donald Anderson, also known as Sigint, to death, and made it look like an accident.
The Shadow Moses incident.
With paramedics
Todo era un
and
plan
Sigint dead,
para ir a
Zero
vengarse
was the only one left.
hasta llegar a Zero.
I paid a price. I lost Ocelot.
Sí.
Ocelot wasn't fighting for the Pentagon or the Russians, and certainly not for Zero. He was fighting for Big Boss. He idolized him.
Eran grandes amigos.
When Ocelot grafted Liquid's right arm to his own, his body was taken over by Liquid's thoughts and spirit. He may be Ocelot in physical form, but his mind is Liquid's. I was the last one. And then someone appeared to help me.
Raiden.
It was when I met him that I finally discovered the location of Big Boss. It was in the data he obtained from GW. Together, he and I retrieved Big Boss. But Big Boss was still asleep, as Zero had left him.
Why did Zero keep him alive?
People need heroes. Zero wanted to create a messiah. A legend that would never die.
Liquid is after Big Boss's body. Is it here?
I'll take you to meet him.
Big Boss.
This is his pyx, his holy ark.
Ahí está.
His body is alive, but his consciousness is locked away by nanomachines. So technically
Le
speaking,
falta el ojo
he's not
izquierdo.
really brain dead.
Perdón, el ojo derecho.
We can't allow Liquid to inherit the same sins that corrupted Zero. Manipulating people's minds for the sake of his own ego.
Nos llaman.
Otacon.
Snake, it's Naomi.
What happened?
She's gone. She's not in the Nomad anymore.
When?
Less than an hour ago. She disappeared right after she and Sonny got back from Dr. Madnar's place.
Why weren't you watching her?
I didn't have my glasses on.
Oh,
Naomi said it herself. The experiment can't succeed without her.
You think she went back to Liquid?
What about Raiden?
Good news on that front. We managed to get our hands on a dialysis machine and set up an ICU.
Snake, ¿has visto eso que es todo raro?
Will he live?
Yeah, no worries there. Sonny's taken over for Naomi. But his treatment's probably gonna take 48 hours. Until then, Raiden can't move.
Hey, you! Come here! What the hell is that?
Robotitos. ¿El Mauser? El Mauser. Su viejo Mauser.
Scarabs. Unmanned scouts.
They've found us.
Sí,
We're moving out.
nos vamos.
Snake, the PMCs are converging on your location. Damn it! They're sending in Gecko! They'll be on you in less than 5 minutes!
Are they ready?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll escape through the canal route using the real van. Get it ready. Hurry.
Yes, ma'am.
Snake, over here. We've got decoy vans set to draw some of our pursuers away.
Su moto, tío. Aún la guarda. O la ha mejorado. Y es nueva.
All of these children were orphans. They work in arms factories. And when they grow up, they want to join a PMC. They seek revenge on other companies, PMCs that killed their parents, and use their earnings to support their younger siblings. There are countless child soldiers like these in the PMCs. Nowadays, anyone with a computer can get combat training. The FPS games that these
Call of
children
Duty
love are distributed for free by these companies. Of course, it's all just virtual training. It's so easy for them to get absorbed by these war games. And before they know it, they're in the PMCs holding real guns. These kids end up fighting in proxy wars that have nothing to do with their own lives. They think it's cool to fight like this. They think that combat is life. They don't need a reason to fight. After all, for them, it's only a game. Zero is the cause of all this. Defeating Liquid won't change things. Unless we stop the Patriot system, the cycle will go unbroken.
Vamos, que tenemos que destruir todo el sistema de IA, si no esto nunca se acaba.
Hop on.
Solo cuando está en la moto cuando se siente viva, ¿no?
Hold on to me. With so many wars being waged, oil and biofuel have become as precious as diamonds. It's been a while since I went out for a ride.
Are you sure about this?
Es la mejor piloto
I only
¿Qué
get
tienes?
off my bike when I
cuando me enamore o muera.
or fall dead.
Big Mama.
Eso se lo dijo a Big Boss.
Call me Eva.
Y no dice su nombre, tío. Venga, Snake. Nos vamos. Sinceramente, pedos de punta con esta banda sonora, tío. Venga.
Here we go.
Nos vamos. Hay que escapar de aquí antes de que vengan. VZ-83. Vale. Tenemos una nueva arma. No, pues ya veis toda la explicación. Aunque todavía nos queda la explicación de cómo Liquid se ha hecho con la mente de Ocelot.
We have to keep Big Boss's body out of enemy hands, no matter what.
Lo
Get
sé.
the body safely to the canal escape.
Madre mía, Big Mama. Vámonos. Venga, 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 venga. No podemos usar solamente la pistola o esto. Y prefiero esto. Vale, las bella y bestias. Recarga Snake. Vamos a recargar. Pues intento, señora, que no nos maten, ¿sabe usted?
Here they come! Snake, help on the right!
Enemy to the right!
Call across! Look out right there! Call across! Up in front!
Tampoco ha sido para tanto, ¿eh? Que haya mucha gente.
There you are, Snake! Where's your anger? Show me your rage!
Hombre, hay que alejar a estos bichos de... a estas máquinas y a Raging Raven de la furgoneta.
More incoming!
I've got bad news. The decoy vans have all bitten the dust, which means the enemy will be focusing on you now. I just need you to hold them off a little longer.
Have you tried aiming the gun? Need help in front!
A ver, es complicado, ¿eh?
The left! Excellent, Snake! Enemy dead ahead! Woo! Enemy dead ahead! Woo! Excellent, Snake!
Vale. Complicado, ¿eh?
Snake behind us!
Yes, nice one, Snake.
Hasta luego. Venga.
Call the clock! Excellent, Snake!
Vámonos, vámonos, vámonos. ¿Nos siguen? No.
Here they come!
Desde el medio, Raging Raven.
Call the clock! That's one! They're coming for us!
Venga, hasta luego, ¿eh?
Snake, are you okay?
Estupendamente.
Here they come! Here!
Recarga. No creo que esté muy bien después de ese disparo, ¿eh? Vamos, vamos.
I think we lost them.
Eva lo hace mejor que yo. Sin Eva no... Porque yo no he hecho apenas nada, ¿eh?
There it is.
Vale, la furgoneta. Obviamente. Oye, ¿a qué me recuerda esto?
Are you okay?
Bueno,
Big Mama, come on. Stay with me.
mismo sitio que hace 40 años, ¿eh?
Eva, I need you.
Is that you? Snake. Mother's work is never done.
Big Mama.
Mismo sitio y lo mismo que hace 40 años, ¿eh? Al final de Snake Eater.
Where's the van?
Over there.
Se estrelló.
The children.
Para mí que no... No están muy bien, ¿eh? No.
No. So sorry. She'll be coming to search the van.
I'll take care of it. You stay here. Keep watch.
I'll contact the children.
Here. Take this.
Snake, come back in one piece.
I will.
Promise me.
Igual que la... Todo es como si se repitiera, ¿sabes? La misma promesa que... Bueno, lo mismo que le dijo a Big Boss en Metal Gear Solid 3 cuando se iba a enfrentar a The Boss. Y tal, pero bueno. Y ahora nos toca Boss Fight. Nos toca pelea contra jefe. Ya nos hemos deshecho de Laughing Octopus. Ahora vamos a por Raging Raven. Oh, le está dando jeringuilla.
Give me your anger, Snake! Let it boil to the surface! Let your fury flow freely! Anger begets anger! Come on! Show me your rage!
¿Dónde está? ¿Qué cojones? Vamos a seguir subiendo. Ya, venga ya. Venga ya. Te vas. Iba a quitarme de ahí, pero no me ha dejado. Ahí viene. Joder. Vamos. Hija de puta. No te vayas. Venga, hombre. Que te reventó 40 veces, joder. Te reventó la cara. No me jodas. ¡Hala! Ahora solo queda matarla en su, entre muchas comillas, forma humana y se acabó.
I can feel the anger building up inside. Eating away at me. I'll never forgive myself. I don't want to be angry. I don't need anger. I'm not angry.
Let me out of this cage. I don't need these wings. I don't need this range.
Ah, vale. Snake mirándole el culo y ya está. Básicamente, Kojima aquí, los modelos de las B&Bs son modelos de... No sé, son... El modelado del personaje son modelos reales. Es decir, son actrices. Se basó en unas 4 chicas.
Snake! She's come out of her suit! Watch out! She's gonna try to grab you!
No voy a permitirlo. Adiós. Se acabó. ¿Puedo saltar? Vale, puedo pausar. Vale. Puedo pausar. Básicamente, después de escuchar la historia de Raven de la mano de Drevin, que nos llamará ahora, dejaremos el capítulo de hoy aquí. el lanzagranadas.
Way to bring that bird down, Snake.
Drebin.
And you got yourself a souvenir, too.
Mm-hmm.
A grenade launcher. Nice.
Nice.
That's a real user-friendly weapon.
Not much use to me without an ID, though.
I'll launder this one free of charge.
What's the catch?
Only that you give it to me when you're done with it. A weapon with that many decades of rage stored up inside it? Now that's a collector's item.
How old was she?
I'd say about 20. But she had years of soldiers' rage hidden away in that youthful body of hers.
Soldiers?
Yeah, the soldiers of Ake. A place that hasn't seen peace in a long, long time. She was captured by one side or another, and kept caged up like an animal, along with God knows how many other kids.
Anonymous violence.
Exactly. It's unknown whether her captors were with the government or the rebels. In any case, they got their kicks by abusing these helpless little kids day after day after day. That constant barrage, that battlefield rage slowly built up inside their bodies, their minds. The kids tried to keep each other's spirits up, always clinging to the hope that someone would come to their rescue, barely surviving off of scraps of food. But those soldiers didn't stop. They called the kids parasites and shit-eating ravens, beat them even harder. Then one morning, the soldiers just up and left, leaving the surviving kids to be eaten alive by the birds. Almost like one of those sky burials. One by one, their bodies were picked apart by ravens' beaks, until finally the flock came for her. But by some miracle, their beaks cut her bonds instead. And like that, she was liberated. In that instant, she was filled with an uncontrollable rage, and it smothered her soul. She ripped the ravens pecking at her to pieces, and then went after the soldiers. And when she finally caught up with them, she waited until nightfall like a hunter awaiting its prey. They say that when a raven cries, a man dies. And that's exactly what happened that night. Screeching and cawing, she killed every last living being in the camp. Both the soldiers and the civilians they'd enslaved. In her eyes, there was no longer a difference. The cruelty her friends had suffered, the pain and humiliation she'd endured. Hers was the distillation of the rage that decades of war had imparted on those soldiers.
It was her strength, and her greatest weakness.
You're something else, Snake. You managed to cleanse Raven of her rage. No, seriously. You're the seed of war. In fact, I'd say you might even be war itself.
Drebin.
Maybe it's still too early to tell. You still got half the B&B Corps ahead of you. Keep your eye on the ball, pal.
Sí, ya solamente nos quedan dos. La MGL 140. ¿Y puedo dejarlo justamente por aquí? Sí, vale, pues perfecto. Pues vamos a dejarlo justamente por aquí. Metal Gear Solid 5. Perdón, 4. He grabado tanto tiempo Metal Gear Solid 5, macho, que ya se me ha quedado el 5 en la cabeza. Pero bueno, vamos a dejar el capítulo de hoy justamente por aquí, porque ya llevamos 55 minutos. Y como empieza ahora, o sea, como vuelva a empezar la batería de cinemáticas, no acabamos hasta por lo menos casi 1 hora y media después. Así que muchísimas gracias por haber visto este vídeo. Dadle like si os ha gustado, dislike si no, y ya sabéis, si queréis apoyar esta serie y queréis apoyar el canal, tan solo tenéis que darle like a los vídeos, suscribiros, compartir, comentar y activar la campanita de la suscripción para que YouTube os avise de cuando subo un nuevo vídeo. Así que nada más, un saludito a todos y nos vemos en el próximo capítulo de Metal Gear Solid 4. Hasta otra, zagales.